Hey everyone, it's great to see so many people interested in growing a business and reaching your goals. But today I really want to talk about something that I believe is holding all of you back, the idea of hustling. Now, I know hustling's been a buzzword in the community for the past few years, and it's been touted as the key to your success. I'm here to tell you that in 2023, it is the wrong way to get things done. Let's unpack this a little. First of all, let's define what we mean by hustling. Now, when most people use the term, they're talking about working long hours, grinding it out, putting in endless amounts of effort. But here's the thing, that effort alone isn't going to get you where you want to be. Yes, you need to work hard to be successful, but you also need to work smart. Hustling might make you feel productive in that moment, but it's not a sustainable way to build a successful business. Not to mention, constantly pushing yourself to the limit can lead to burnout, which is the last thing you want. Around overwork, overwhelm, and burnout are bad decisions. Business, life, health, bad decisions. And that's not going to be what gets you ahead. Now, last week I talked about burnout, how overwhelm is avoidable with just a few simple steps. You can check out the video linked at the end of this one, or just search for it on my channel. Burnout and hustle are so linked together. They're part of a bigger issue where you need to focus in order to go from being a bobo to being a datapreneur. Clarity. So, a bobo is being a burned out business owner. And burnout can come from overwhelm. It can come from that feeling of overwhelm that you get physically as well as emotionally. Hustle is a leading cause of burnout. And for that reason alone, it should be avoided. So instead of hustling, focus on finding ways to work more efficiently and effectively. This means taking the time to identify and eliminate any wasted time and resources. It means setting clear goals and developing a plan to reach them. It means taking care of yourself, both physically and mentally, so you can perform at your best. Let's unpack this one just a little bit. Finding ways to work more efficiently and effectively. Identify and eliminate wasted time and resources. Setting clear goals and developing a plan to reach those goals. Taking care of yourself. It's clarity, all that. Clarity involves knowing your goals, but also your processes, your customer journey, and you. I like to look at the way it's kind of like driving a car on a road trip, right? You have to know a bit about the vehicle you're driving, right? The gas mileage, tire wear, the ability to drive in snow and ice this time of year. Hey, in Maine, it's a big deal. Okay, I realize some of you are in the nice warm weather. Well, we got a lot to think about when it comes to taking a road trip this time of year. What about you? What can you handle? What happens if you get more customers than you can handle? What happens if your kids get sick? You have to know you and how you handle things. So the first thing you want to start with is you. You're the goal setter. You're the person doing the majority of the work. So you're the vehicle on the road making stuff happen. Know what your abilities are and what your limitations are. The next thing to know is your goals. Come on, people, it's mid-January. You do have your goals set, right? People, come on. January, got to have it. Got to be moving it. Got to be doing it right now. Hustle. Anyway, are your goals vague or are they SMART? Remember the SMART acronym? It makes sense to consider if your goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Now, some people over the past have changed those around a little bit. Those are the 5 that I like: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. So let's just talk about that real quickly. You can look up, Google it, all the SMART stuff. Specific. Your goals have to be specific enough. You can't just say, I want to make a lot of money, or you can't just say, I want to be healthy, I want to lose weight. Be specific, I want to lose 50 pounds by whatever. I want to make 6 figures. I want to have 40 new customers, so you have these specific goals. Measurable, when you talk about, 40 new customers, that's measurable. When you talk about 35 pounds you want to lose, or you want to be able to lift, 4 times the amount of weight you used to lift in the gym before. It doesn't matter what it is. If you can measure it, then it's worth having as a goal. Is it attainable? And the thing I want you to think about is that something that's too attainable, like, yes, I can, okay, so let me put it this way. My goal is to lift 5 pounds by the end of the summer. Specific, measurable, and attainable. No, attainable is not just, can you do it? Attainable is something you want to reach for it, and you want to go, I think I can. It shouldn't be like, yeah, if I work hard, I can get that goal. That's actually too attainable. It should be, I'm not sure I can make that goal. That's the kind of goal you want. It's attainable, but you're not really sure, you want to stretch yourself. So specific, measurable, attainable, relevant. If I'm doing work like this with you and my goal is totally irrelevant to what I'm doing with you, if my goal is I want to move to Missouri just because, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, shouldn't be one of my top goals. Could be a goal of mine. Hey, why not, right? Timely is the last one. Timely simply means, you can look at it a couple of different ways. One is that it's time boxed, by a certain date, or timely meaning it's something that I need to accomplish now. Like if I wanted to have a goal that was specific, measurable, attainable, and relevant, but really is something for next year, it shouldn't be on this year's goals. And this all being said, timely also means you should have a nice compact set of goals. Don't have like 10 or 15 things and say, these are my goals. You really want to narrow that down. There's some excellent literature out there for goal setting. I'm not going to even go there. I am the last person you want to have setting goals. For you, I have a hard enough time with my own, but at least I know that all of mine they do fall into the SMART category. So once you have a goal set, you know who you are and you know what the end point is. Remember, a goal is not the traffic, it's not the path. When you have a goal, it's simply an endpoint. I want to take a road trip from here to visit my folks in Rhode Island. So from Maine to Rhode Island, I know it's a 5-hour trip. My goal is to get to Rhode Island, but it doesn't mean that that's the goal. Like the goal isn't the thing. The goal is the endpoint. If I walk from here to Rhode Island and I go to Canada first and work my way around to California, right, you get where I'm going. But basically, you have to know how you're going to get those goals achieved. You have in your business processes and people, which we'll later on call systems, that are in place to take you there. What do you have to work with? Pause this video if you want, or take a look at it afterwards. As you're taking inventory on you, your goals, and the systems, the processes, and the people that are going to take you there, what do you have to work with? Then I want you to overlay that and go, wait a minute, there's a gap here. Have you got any gaps? Who or what will fill them? And that's where we start talking about things like automations or hiring out or all those other things. Anyway, what we're talking about here is just clarity. Okay. Now, all of these things to think about that I've laid out for you can actually make you feel a little overwhelmed right now. And that makes sense. It's totally normal. If you have a handle on it, you probably wouldn't even be this far into this video. So it's okay if you feel a little overwhelmed or like you have a lot more on your plate now than you did before this video. Just thinking about these things adds to your plate. I want you to slow down and take a breath, okay? In through the nose, out through the mouth, whatever it is that you have to do. Once you have all of these things that we just laid out answered, you're in a much better place. I want you to think about a road trip that you've been on, or think of two. One where you were winging it. you and a friend, a buddy said, hey, let's go to Vegas, or let's go to Great Woods, or let's go to this concert, or whatever, let's go watch some sporting event. And you just hop in a car and you go, you don't even think about it. Fun. But when you're talking about your business, your livelihood, the incomes of your employees, the responsibility to your customers, when you're talking about a business standpoint, that wing it is not something that you want to do on a regular basis by any means, especially when it comes to goals. Now think about another road trip where you planned it out well. I have a friend who took a trip to Italy, and he literally had a binder full of his itinerary, day by day, minute by minute. I mean, it probably wasn't minute by minute, but it certainly had sections of the day. It had every contact number for every vendor along the way, whether it was a taxi or the airport or the hotel they were staying at or whatever. He knew this trip inside out and backwards. It can make for a very tight, difficult trip for some people on the trip, but it can also be extremely freeing. When everything that you needed to think about is in one place, your brain slows down. And I want you to just think about something. When you have the whole trip laid out, when you know what your goals are, you know who's going to be doing the work to get you on that path, along that path to that goal, and you know who you are and where you're going, what a different place to be in. Think of how quiet your mind will be. When you come into work in the morning, you're not going, oh, where am I going? Where's this business going? Why is Ted working on that right now? What's he doing? It's like, where everybody's spot is, what's going on, and you know where you're going. That quiet up here cannot be understated. Hustle takes away the quiet, and you focus on doing. I've got nothing else going on. And yet at the same time, your head is very noisy because you're focused on the task at hand, and you have to shut out. It's an active thing to shut out the rest of the world. The steps that I've just given you to clarify things removes that. When you're going to come from a place that's much less overwhelmed than you think. And maybe, just maybe, you're going to look at all of the stuff, you're going to answer the questions about you and your goals and your path and think, oh my God, I've been hustling in the wrong things. Or if I adjusted my hustle in this direction for a while, I could do X, Y, and Z. I could fill this gap. I could, whatever. You get to see things differently. And you find that your hustle is less about hustle and more about a push, which I think is a big difference. I mean, hustle can be extremely powerful when done in short bursts. But you want to make sure that you aren't just some kid in a kayak flailing around with his oar spinning in circles. Hustle just means a fast push over a longer period than normal, right? It's faster than normal. It's longer than normal. It's hustle. But without clarity, your chances of getting where you want to be is much, much lower. Put the flailing kid in who has no direction and he's just hustling. Who knows where that kayak ends up? But you put in well-prepared, strong, focused people who go, I'm taking this kayak from here to there, get out of my way. And they're driving. Hustle becomes a drive. It becomes a push. It becomes getting stuff done. And they're not going to veer from that course, but they know the course. They know their limits. They know where they're going. Okay. So when you're hustling right now, I can imagine that many times you go to bed like I've gone to bed, which is exhausted, not sure you actually got anything accomplished that you needed to get done, not sure what you need to do the next day. You feel that in the hustle. The pressure builds up, doesn't it? That's when you realize that you're on the wrong kind of hustle, or at least maybe you shouldn't be hustling. And this brings me back to the original idea that I wanted to talk about when we started talking about hustle and whatnot is hustling is not for everyone, okay? it comes with a very big price, and that is sacrificing your personal life, relationships, mental and sometimes physical health. And sometimes as an entrepreneur, we forget to enjoy the journey rather than constantly hustling to reach the finish line. We need to remember that success is not only about money or fame. It's not even about your goals per se. Success is a feeling, right? You and I could do the exact same things and reach the exact same goals, and those could have been our goals. And maybe you feel like a success and I don't. Success is about feeling fulfilled and having the life that we want. Success is about feeling fulfilled and having the life that we want. We all know stories of rich people who are miserable and poor people who are thrilled with life. And we always think that if we were the rich person, we'd enjoy it. That poor person, they're just in a different place than I am. But I want you to just consider that it's your individual journey as an entrepreneur. My point is to give you clarity, is to say, look, in 2023, can you just stop hustling for a minute? Can you just stop and take inventory, take a breath, take a look at your life, take a look at your business, take a look at the people around you who are counting on you, your family, your friends. Adjust your goals if you need to. It's still early enough in January. I was giving you grief about, January and goals, but you have time. And your goals should reflect success. What does success mean for you? What's a goal? Success can feel it. You can feel success today. A goal should just be extending that success, enhancing things, enlarging it. And when I'm doing my goals, honestly, I tend to forget. I'm not lying here. This is me being straight up with you. I tend to forget my personal and family goals when I do my annual goals. I did this year as well. And I have good friends, that friend that goes on the Italy trip, and other good friends of mine that we get together and we set goals together. Totally different places in what we're doing, but they help me set better priorities and goals, thankfully. I'm very thankful for their friendship and for their guidance to say, hey, dude, it's not all about give me info. It's not all about Greg Howe. And thankfully, my goals reflect that now. But I'm just like you. I work hard. I see value in what I do. I see value in what I can bring to you. And I love when someone like you, your eyes light up and something good happens, right? I love my family. I love my life. But sometimes I just get super focused. What I would like for you to do is just to do what I do. At times, I need to step back and I need to look at my goals. I need to remember my goals. I go every morning and look at a list of my goals for the quarter. So I keep in mind, okay, I'm focused over there. It's like when you're that powerful kayaker, right? You can just keep going and eventually forget, wait a minute, where am I going again? You have to pick your head up and look and see the goal in your eyes and go, oh yeah, there it is. There's my goal. And you just drive a little harder. You have to do that. It's human nature. Remember your why. Remember your North Star. For me, it's about remembering why I was made and put onto this blue marble with all you guys. I've been given unique skills and I want to use them. And for me, that's important. And so for me, my goals reflect that. And that's why I do these videos. And that's why I do what I do. It's like there's benefit for me, but I do it because it's how I'm made. It's what I'm here to do. So with clarity comes smarter work, less hustle, or at least more targeted hustle, and your brain will have more quiet time. That will lead to better decision making. Okay, all of this we've been talking about, this clarity, why even bother? It's because you need to make better decisions. In life and in business, decision making happens every day. And when it's noisy, when the kids are yelling and the dog is barking and someone hasn't been fed and oh shoot, someone just fell down the stairs and things like that, your brain gets crazy. So it's hard to make a decision when someone says, what do you want for dinner? At that exact moment, I'm like, whatever. It's not even close to thinking about it. Can you pick up so-and-so at so-and-so's house? Whatever, sure. You don't make decisions, or you make bad decisions. Yeah, make a few of those. Anyway, better decision-making snowballs into better results across the board, your whole life. When you make better business decisions, there's satisfaction, there's quiet, there's peace, there's happiness. You can see it in your customers, you can see it in your employees, you can see it in yourself. Your family can see it in you. Your life will reflect that satisfaction. So my message to you is this: stop hustling and start working smart. Take the time to plan, execute, and reflect on your actions. And remember that building a successful business takes time and hard work, but it doesn't have to come at the expense of your happiness and your well-being. So this first pillar of my 4 pillars of data-driven success is clarity. All month we're talking about clarity. Last week we covered overwhelm, and this week we're talking about hustle being the wrong way to get stuff done. With overwhelm and hustle off of your mind, next week we're going to tackle why replacing or adding software to your business is a plan for failure in your data-driven initiatives. Remember, this whole point of this thing for me is so that you get out of being a bobo, a burned out business owner, and you become a datapreneur. That's the whole goal of this thing. You're starting to clear your mind, and then we'll talk about why the next step you're going to want to go and replace or add software. I'm going to tell you, please don't do that. Okay, if you're going to be data driven, you don't want to touch those things. Anyway, I thank you so much for listening, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. See you next time.